premapadam. Aspadam is Vishaya. Paramam is Niratisaya. Yes. It is the Vishaya. Vishaya means it is the object in the sense, the locus, you can say. This Atma is the locus of Parama Prema. Parama Prema, Niratisaya Prema means it is the locus of limitless love. I, Atma, is the locus, the Vishaya, Aspada, of limitless love. Is it so? What is that in the creation? We love the most. That is the objective, very objective. Don't hesitate at all. That is very objective. What is that in the creation which we love the most? I will, me only. Anything else we love is going to come in the next stanza also. It is going to both stanzas. Actually, by the way, this stanza is this and the next stanza is more or less based on Varaha Upanishad. Varaha Upanishad, chapter 2, stanza 7 and 9. No, this is a picture of something. This is a unique feature of Prakarana Grantha. Many stanzas from the Prakarana Grantha, when you read, it has got the appearance of the original, only because we don't know the minor Upanishad. So there are many minor, 108, about 108 or 111 minor Upanishads are available. In that, they are available, means they are borrowed from that. That can be, like we, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. From there, Vivekchudani, some of you must have read that. It appears to be from Vivekchudani. Actually, it is not original stanza given by Shankaracharya. I forgot that there is some minor Upanishad only. So like that, we said, because they come here last. So based on, so it is not literally borrowed from here, Varaha Upanishad, it is based on that. Okay. So now, Yataha, because of the reason that I, Atma, is Parama Premaspadam. Parama Premaspadam, Ataha, therefore, Paranandaha. Paranandaha. Niratisya Ananda, Paraha cha asau Ananda means, is Ananda, that Para here means, which is free from all limitations. What is Para? Desha Kala Vasva Parichinnam, Param. So, means, this Ananda is not dependent on Desha, this Ananda is not dependent on Kala or Vastu, means it is limitless Ananda. Why? It is because this Atma is Parama Premaspadam, is the locus of the limitless love. So we have to find out how something which is locus of limitless love can be the limitless Ananda. How is it possible? So we will analyze tomorrow. Aparanandaha Parapremaspadam Yataha Manabhuvam hi bhuyasam Iti prematmani sate Ekasvahit is nitya. So that is free from destruction, because na udeti nastaneti. So it has no birth nor destruction. Here na udeti nastaneti, it is neither born nor subject to destruction. It is also an upalakshana for absence of rest of all the changes. With all the sarvicharas are denied by denial of the birth and the destruction. Jayate vardhate viparinamati apakshiyate vinashyati. Though it is said as uspatti and vinasa, but all the vicharas, sarvicharas are denied, and therefore it is nitya. So it always is there without any change whatsoever. So now, such a thing should necessarily be satya. So what is satya actually? Yadrupena yam nishchitam tadrupam na vedhucharati. Tat satyam. You must have come across it in the Taittiriya Bhashya, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. I come to know that person has taken to you. So, Satyam Yadrupena Yam Nishchitam Vastu tadrupam na vyabhicharati. Whatever that is determined by a particular form and nature of it doesn't give it up. Under no circumstances it gives it up, means it always remains to be the same. So yadrupena yan nishitam vastu. So whatever vastu is nishitam, is ascertained in whatever nature, in whatever form, tadrupam, that nature, na vyabhicharati, doesn't deviate it, doesn't give it up. So tad satyam. So therefore, na udeti, na astameti, neither born nor subject to destruction, means it is not subject to any of these changes, so it should necessarily be satyam in nature. Satyam itself is sat. So therefore, this samyut that we have discovered so far is nothing but sat, and it is aparoksha, swayam prabha, and it is avidya. It is not an object of knowledge. It is not something that can be known. It is not an object of knowledge. It cannot be a known thing. So therefore it is a very visayi, a very subject and not the object. So therefore it aparoksha should naturally be me, and samvit is chit. So therefore I, yam, samvit, yam atma, in between you have to add there samvit. Yam is feminine. This samvit which we have discovered so far is atma, is really I, my real nature. And as I have seen, being nitya is satya, and samvit itself is chit. So that is sat and chit, that is my real nature. Now, that itself is Paramananda Swarupa. So maybe sat means I am not subject to birth and destruction, means I am immortal. Chit means I am the very knowledge principle where there cannot be any trace of ignorance. That is fine. But I want to seek happiness. That is the first and foremost prompting for each and everyone. So how can I get it? So it is yataha parama premaspadam ataha paramanandaha. So because yataha, because of the reason, yasmat parama premaspadam. So parama premaspadam, parasya premnaha aspadam visayaha. So because me is the aspadam means visayaha. I am the object, means I am the locus of paramaha premnaha, of prema, of love. What type of love? Not ordinary love. Parama prema means, you can say supreme love, means the most exalted love or limitless love. You see what is meant by parama here. So it is not just limitless in the sense that parama stands for the love which is not occasioned by something. We love something because of something else. Suppose, see, one loves a child because it is a very embodiment of innocence. You love that child. You don't know that a child is there, you love it. So there is a beautiful rose, a fragrant rose, that you love because of the fragrance and the beauty of the rose. Like that, you may love so many things because of something that you get out of that, or because of some reason. But for what reason do we love ourselves? For what reason do you love yourself? What is that reason? Is it because the nose is long? Maybe if nose is long, you love the nose because it is long, that you like, that is different too. But I am talking of love for yourself. Why do you love yourself? There is no reason. I can't but love. So that is the very inherent thing in each and everyone, that we love ourselves the most. So therefore, yataha, because of the reason that parama here stands for nirupadhikatvena, without any upadhi, without any cause or without any nimitta. Here upadhi is the sense of nimitta. Without any nimitta or cause whatsoever, so we love ourselves. So therefore parasya premnaha. Parasya means nirupadhikatve niratishyasya, of limitless, of supreme love means of limitless love without any cause whatsoever. Premasya means premnaha means of that love. Aspadam visaya, the locus, the object. Me is the locus of maximum love or limitless love. Ataha, therefore he says paranandaha. Aham parananda. Because the reason given is because I am the locus of limitless love, therefore I am the parananda, means I am limitless ananda swarupa. Parasya asau anandasya parananda. The ananda which is para, Again here para means nirupadhita and niratisaya. So which is not dependent on anything, at the same time it is limitless in the sense the ananda which is free and independent of anything whatsoever. Generally we get ananda because of so many objects in the world. That ananda is dependent on the object that is desired by us. But this ananda, my nature, is parananda. Parananda means it is not dependent on any object as such, so it is really there, it is limitless in nature. Now you have to see, how is it that because me, I is the locus of limitless love, the I itself is the limitless ananda. How do you say so? This we have to assert it. And before that, we should know by our experience, oneself is the one who is loved the most. Perhaps you know this Akbar and Birbal story. See, once Akbar and Birbal are going somewhere, and Akbar saw a monkey jumping from tree to tree. And a baby monkey was clasping to the stomach of the mother. So Akbar said, see, with how much love and affection this monkey is protecting the baby monkey. He said, Maharaj, that is true. Of course, I don't deny the affection of the mother towards the baby. But if it finally one loves oneself the most. Akbar said, how can it can be? No, you are wrong. So I can prove that. So Birbal arranged to catch the monkey along with the baby. And he got hold of a big tank, water tank, okay, with two outlets. One inlet and other outlet. So what he did is, there was an outlet at the bottom and inlet at the top. And from the top inlet, he started filling up the tank. And he kept the monkey along with the baby in the tank. And it was not possible for the monkey to jump out of the tank. That's where he took. And the water was being filled up in the tank. So the level started rising up and up and up and up. So the mother monkey could sense that now the life is in danger. The child will get drowned, etc. So the monkey lifted the child. The water level is rising up, 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 up. The baby was lifted up, 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 up by the mother monkey. Now the water came up to the nose level of the mother monkey. And still it held the baby monkey on the head. Again the water was being gushed inside. The water started going above the nose level of the monkey. The moment it started going above, without any delay, the mother monkey kept the baby monkey down and stood above that. So immediately Birbal took precaution to flush out the water. He said, Maharaj, Dekha, did you say? Yes, that love is there, but finally it comes to oneself, survival of oneself. Oneself is the one who is the most loved by everyone in one instant. So like that. So everyone loves others, but one is the locus of maximum love. That's fine. But because of that, how do you say that I am the locus, and I am Parananda, I am limitless Ananda? For this we have to see one thing. See, there is an object. Do you love it? Or if you love it, why do you love that object? Which object or being do you love? That which is capable of giving you joy, is it not? Suppose I keep in one crucible potassium cyanide here. PCM. What will happen? There may be someone who is hunting for that, who wants to end the life, etc. That is okay. But nobody likes that. So that means whatever that can give happiness, joy is not. So let us say, here is an object A, which gives some quantum of joy. So therefore I love that. But there is an object B, which gives more joy. So therefore I love the object B more than the object A. Let us say there is an object C, which gives still more joy. So the love towards C is still more than the B. Suppose there is some D object or something D which gives limitless happiness. How much love towards the D? Limitless. More the content of joy, more love towards the object or being. If something is there which can give limitless ananda, there must be limitless love towards that. If this is the fact, now let us see the corollary of this. If there is something which is the locus of limitless love, it should necessarily be the source of limitless ananda. Just opposite of that. If I have got more and more love towards a thing which can give me more and more happiness, and if there is something which can give the limitless happiness, I have got the limitless love. The one which has, the thing which has got, which attracts limitless love should necessarily be the source of limitless ananda. So what about myself? Parama premaspadaha. I am the locus of limitless love. Therefore, I should necessarily be the source of limitless ananda. So, because I am Parama Premaspadaha, therefore Paranandaha. So I am the Parananda. Parananda means Parahachasau Ananda, the one who is the brand of everything. So therefore, what is my nature now? I am Sat, I am Chit, and I am Ananda. Here he says, how can we say that I am Parama Premaspadam? Parama Premaspada, how is it that I am Parama Premaspada? Though I see the author is explaining, because of this reason we can certainly find out that me is the locus of limitless love. So the reason is Mana Bhuvam hi Bhuyasam iti Atmani Prema Ishati. It is like this. So Aham hi, because you know that Aham Mana Bhuvam Bhuyasam iti. You can add there Kamayamanasya Atmani Prema Ishati. In the case of the person who desires like this, iti Kamayamanasya, the one who desires, because of the reason that the one who desires like this, what he desires? Aham Mana Bhuvam. Aham Mana Abhuvam. Bhuvam is that gets dropped because of preceding ma. So ma in the sense of negation ma. So when that this abhuvam is the aorist form, which will come to know in course of time in grammar. So it is aorist form. When it is preceded by ma, that abhuvam, the gets dropped and becomes mana ma bhuvam. So aham ma na abhuvam, in the sense aham ma abhuvam iti na, that I never desire not to be. It can be put as like this. The ma again is na kadati na abhuvam. Na kadati, never aham na abhuvam, means I cease to exist. Means I never desire to cease to exist, in the sense never I desire not to be. You can put in not to be in inverted comma. Never, you can put that, never I desire not to be. On the contrary, I ever desire to be. So bhuyasam eva. Bhuyasam iti, the benedictive mood ashirling says, let me be forever. Bhuyasam. So let me be forever. Never I desire not to be, but I desire always to be. Iti kamayamanasya. One who desires so. Who doesn't desire so? Is there anyone who desires that let me not be? Let me not be means what? Pleasing oneself to be means destruction of oneself. So who wants to get destroyed oneself? Who wants to die? No one wants to die as such. So therefore, iti kamayamanasya means this is a desire entertained by each and every living being. Not only human beings, but each and every living being desire that I want to live and live forever. Nobody wants to die. So that is the inherent instinct in each and every living being. So, mana bhuvam hi bhuyasam iti atmani, in oneself, prema ishati. So, what is seen is prema, that love towards oneself, for oneself, is seen in this form that I always want to be, never I want to cease to be. So therefore, this shows that this desire is universal desire, and therefore it shows that one loves oneself the most, and therefore one is the very source of limitless Ananda, so Paramananda. Now here, a doubt may come. We have seen a doubt may come. Look, maybe myself is the locus of love, but we also love many other things, is it not? Is it that we love ourselves only? So there are many objects and beings in the world we love. So how do you say Parama Premaspadam? So myself is the locus of limitless love. How is it? So that means the Parama Prema. The Parama Prema means Niratisaya Nirupadhita Prema. So that love towards oneself is not dependent on anything whatsoever. That is being established in the next stanza. Tat Prematmart तत्प्रेमात्मार्थमन्यत्र नैव मन्यार्थमात्मनि अतस्तत्परमं तेन परमानन्दतात्मनः. यत् अन्यत्र प्रेम tat atmartham. So no doubt there are different objects and beings towards which we have got love. True. But anyatra means elsewhere, means swatirikte, other than oneself. What are those other than oneself? Which can be putradav, jaya, putra, vitta, pashu, etc. So, husband, wife, children, name, fame, this wealth, in all this means anything other than oneself, anyatra, elsewhere, other than oneself, yat prema, whatever love that is seen, that love is what? Atmartham, tat means tat prema, atmartham means for oneself means atma prayojanaya eva. So it is for atmanaha prayojanaya, it is for the sake of oneself. If we love something other than oneself, it is not for the sake of that particular object and being, it is for the sake of me only, atmanaha prayojanaya eva. This is the fact. Better we know it. Generally, see, we may see it. How can I say, I love some person, and if I tell I love that person for the sake of myself, the person may feel bad about it. So therefore, no, I love. You may say that way, but you can't deceive yourself. One loves anything and everything for the sake of oneself. In Brihadaranyaka, you say, so many mantras are devoted. In the fourth chapter, fifth Brahmana, by none other than Yajnavalkya, to teach to his own dear wife Maitri. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Are Maitri, anything and everything that is dear or pleasing for anyone is for the sake of oneself. This is the fact. Okay? Nava are patyuh kamaya patih priyo bhavati, atmanastu kamaya patih priyo bhavati. Are Maitri, na vai are, vai indeed, na vai are becomes vare, okay? Va are. Ekya vayavaha lopa sakalya, so they will come to the course of time. It will be taught, but it is not taught for her. So na vai are Maitri, oh dear Maitri, so the patyuh kamaya patih priya, yes, nava are patyuh kamaya patih priyo bhavati. So the pati, the husband is not dear for the sake of husband. Patyuh kamaya, for the sake of husband, the husband is not dear. Then atmanastu kamaya patih priyo bhavati. The husband is dear to the wife for the sake of oneself. Oh, what about the wife? Don't you say. Nava are jayaya kamaya jaya priya bhavati. Otherwise the silly opposite. So therefore, nava are jayaya kamaya jaya priya bhavati. Atmastu kamaya jaya priya bhavati. Oh Maitri, the wife is not dear for the sake of the wife is dear for the sake of oneself. Nava are putrasya kamaya putrah priyo bhavati. Atmanastu kamaya putrah priyo bhavati. Oh Maitri, The son, means children are not dear for the sake of children, they are dear for the sake of oneself. Navare vedasya kamaya veda priyo bhavati atmanas kamaya veda priyo bhavati. The Vedas are dear not for the sake of the Vedas, they are dear for the sake of oneself. Navare vittasya kamaya vittam priyo bhavati atmastu kamaya vittam priyo bhavati. The wealth is dear not for the sake of the wealth, it is for the sake of oneself. He goes on and after getting exhausted he says, Navare sarvasya kamaya sarvam priyo bhavati atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyo. Are Maitri, sarvam, all that is dear is not dear for the sake of oneself, it is not for the sake of those things, it is for the sake of oneself. The kriya can be taken as the pleasing, agreeable or liked. Anything and everything is pleasing to one or agreeable to oneself or liked by oneself is not for the sake of those things or the beings, for the sake of oneself. How? Because see, the world can be divided into 4 categories depending on our love towards it. The first variety is Parama Premaspadam, the locus of limitless love. Who is that? Me is the locus of limitless love. The second one is desirable objects and beings, like husband, wife, children, wealth, name, power, position, etc. The third one is undesirable things. For example, let us say a tiger, a snake, etc. Not desirable. Fourth variety is neutral. You are indifferent towards it. A blade of grass, a clod of earth, or a person. You are just indifferent towards the person. So there are the 4 varieties. Now here among these 4 varieties, the first one, me, the Parama Prema Padam, which is the locus of limitless love, is always the locus of limitless love. Whereas the other 3 categories may go on changing. For example, let us see, when you are confronted with a tiger, is it desirable or undesirable? Undesirable. Why? Source of danger. It is undesirable. Suppose you are sitting on that veranda there, and yonder on the mountain you saw a tiger going away. What is it? Desirable, undesirable or neutral? Neutral, you are indifferent toward them, because it is not a source of fear, nor a desirable thing also, it is a neutral toward them. Suppose the tiger is caught, and it is trained and tamed, and it has become a circus tiger. It is a source of entertainment. Now desirable or undesirable? Desirable. Think of it. Tiger is one and the same. Earlier it was undesirable, later it was neutral, afterwards it became desirable. Means they go, that means our attitude goes on changing. The most dear son, what did he do? Behaved contrary to the wishes of the parents, becomes, overnight he becomes undesirable. Is it? Power, possession, desirable or undesirable? Desirable, is it? Yes, always. See, when Indira Gandhi was not in power, first time when Janata government was there, she came to Madras and dashed to Ramanashram. Just somewhere I heard about it. And she went to Ramanashram, the manager came running. Though she may not be Prime Minister now, but he knows who she is. He came. He said, I want to go around the Arunachala mountain, the Pradakshina. They say, if you do the Pradakshina, your wish gets fulfilled. That is what the belief is. And this manager just said, Madam, it is said that when you offer prayers, one should not offer with a particular desire. Means not for the sake of fulfillment of desire. He just blurted out without knowing what he is speaking and to whom he is speaking. He said, speak and just. He might have seen the reaction on the face of Indira Gandhi. So he immediately said, no, this is what I read or heard in the Shastras. What he meant was Nishkama karma, that is what he meant. So this is what I heard. He said, at any cost I want to become the Prime Minister. I want to become it, I want to regain the status of the Prime Minister. So what he can say? So he arranged for all these things. So he said also he has to arrange for the food. He has come at an odd time and he has to arrange, there is no time, so he wants some time to fix that, and he said he arranged for the Pradakshina. And that was over. And afterwards, whether for that or whether else he became the in course of time, Sanjay Gandhi died in the air crash. So after some time, he came to Ramanashram and happened to meet the same manager there. She just, that means, burst out. Is this the price I had to pay? Means that fresh, that the demise of son was fresh there. Is this the price? Because he had told, at any cost I want to become the Prime Minister. Is this the price I had to pay? What can the manager say? He just kept quiet. But she also didn't know the total cost that she had to pay. It was not only Sanjay Gandhi, it was the cost of her life and afterwards another son's life. It was power. That much, everything was concentrated in that, is there. Now suppose, just this is only within the walls, okay? Within the walls here only. Just to give an example of power, okay? Now, if Rajiv's wife, suppose what will be her attitude towards power? My God, this politics and power is what? Most dangerous. So the power that was desirable can turn out to be undesirable. So there is no hard and fast rule that any object, whether it is desirable, undesirable, neutral, will always remain to be same. It goes on changing. But me, Parama Premaspadam, always the locus of limitless love. So therefore, that means the love for any object, anyatra, is atmartham. Atmartham means atmanaha prayojanaya eva. It is for the sake of oneself only. Whereas evam atmani yat prema to be added anyartham na. But in the same manner, means as we have seen in the case of the love for any object or being other than myself is for the sake of oneself. But that way, so atmani yat prema. So whatever love that is seen towards oneself or in oneself, there another alternate reading is there in the place of atmani, atmanaha. So alternate reading also is there, atmanaha. So therefore, atmanaha yat prema. The love of oneself, the love towards oneself. So atmanaha prema, anyartham na eva, or anyartham na, not na eva, anyartham na means anya prayojanaya na. It is not for the sake of others. Means if whatever we love other than ourselves is for the sake of oneself, and the love towards oneself is not for the sake of anything other than myself. So this being the case, therefore it says ataha tat paramam. Therefore means, so the love for being for oneself, so atmani drishyamanam prema. Tat means that prema which is seen towards oneself is paramam. So paramam means it is something which is not dependent on anything other than oneself. It is not occasioned by anything else. It is nirupadhika, it is niratishaya in nature. Whereas other love for other things are for the sake of oneself. Love for oneself is not for the sake of anything, it is for oneself only. So therefore, what was told earlier as Parama Premaspadam certainly holds good, because the love towards oneself is for the sake of oneself, not dependent on anything, it is independent of anything and everything. So therefore, tena atmanaha paramanandata. Tena, Because that love towards oneself is parama. For that reason, Tena is Niratishya Premaspadattvena. So because the love towards oneself is Niratishya, limitless, so therefore Atmanaha Paramanandata. So Atma happens to be Paramananda Swarupa. Paramananda Swarupa is of the nature of limitless Ananda. Why? We have seen. So a source of the Ananda is loved by us, and therefore the thing locus which is the one that is the locus of maximum love should necessarily be the source of limitless Ananda, Paramanandata, Atmanaha. So therefore, I Atma is Sat, Chit and Ananda. Generally what we aspire in life? I want to live how long? Forever. I want to live forever. Okay? Means I don't want to die. Means I want to be immortal. I want to live not just like that. I want to live happily. And happily without even the trace of sorrow. Okay? And I can't suffer ignorance. I can't suffer ignorance. I want to have the knowledge always. So therefore this is what I seek. And what am I in reality? I am Sat, means free from destruction, free from death. I am Ananda, free from sorrow. I am Samvit, Chit, Jnana Swarupa, free from ignorance. So therefore, what is the problem now? I am immortal and I want to be immortal. I am limitless Ananda and I want to be happy. I am free from ignorance and I want to get rid of ignorance. The problem is that of ignorance and the consequent error. The solution is in knowing what my real nature is. Now one may say, if I am Paranandaha and Satchit, which of course there is no doubt about that. But what? You know what are the many buts are there? If the problem of but comes, refer back to stanza 2. What is stanza 2? Tat padambuja ruha seva nirmala chetasa. For ayam tattva-vivekaha vidhiyate. So this tattva-viveka is given, addressed to whom? Tat padamburuha dvandva seva nirmala chetasa. For those whose Chetas is Shuddha, who have got Nirmalanta Karna by service, means by proper sadhanas unto them. And in spite of discovery, if it doesn't click in, what does it mean? What is lacking? Nirmala Chetas. What is lacking is Nirmala Chetas, that Shuddhanta Karna is lacking. So therefore that means one should diagnose, and therefore one should not lose courage. One should not get despaired also. So take to the sadhanas means to get the Shuddhanta Karna. In this context, everything like Karma Yoga, prayers, Japa, Tapa, all these become relevant. Don't say, so I am Atma, so therefore what? I don't need prayers, etc. That's fine. If you know through and through Satchidananda Swarupa, you don't need prayers at all. But that frame of mind, that readiness of the mind must be there. Then there is no need. But if it is not there, we should strive for to gain that, then the prayers, etc. are relevant. Otherwise, it is just means borrowing a statement from Vedanta and saying it is not going to help at all. So is it saying, once it happened, a boy saw his mother in the kitchen struggling to get the different provisions, because the provisions were kept in tins, different dabbas they were kept. And to get one thing, she will open half a dozen of dabbas to find out what she wants. So he saw the plight of the mother and he told, Mummy, I will help you. What is that? I will label all the dabbas depending on the content of it. Okay? Very nice boy. They said, certainly do it. And he took all the pains to label the things, everything. So mirchi, this, everything is the grains, this, that, all were labeled. And he said, he showed, see, I have done everything. So mother also was very happy. He had done a neat job. Afternoon, mother went in the kitchen to prepare the coffee. And she wanted to get the sugar. And she hunted. Nowhere the sugar dabba. She called the boy, where is the sugar dabba? The boy came very cool and calm. He picked up the dabba and gave it. Here. Mother read the label. She opened first. There was sugar. And she read the label. On bold letter it was written, red chilies. The mother scolded. What made you write red chilies here? Mummy, look, I deliberately wrote it red chilies. Do you know why? To avoid the ants. you know, see, how these ants, they swarm with a sugar dabba. Just to avoid them, I wrote the red chili. Mere writing and labeling red chili is not going to keep the ants away. So like that, I am Ananda, Satchidananda Sarupa. Labeling is not going to make you free from sorrows of samsara. So therefore, it will be only a lip Vedanta, it will be. It is not going to solve the problem. So one will just say, ये सब जगत तो मिथ्या है. You may say मिथ्या, but you will get the blows, and afterwards you should have the courage to say the blows also are मिथ्या. You know that story? Somebody was apprehended for a murder. And it was a clean case, and the judge gave the capital punishment. Olden days murderer he was. He knew little Sanskrit and little some Gita also somewhere he had heard. He told the judge, look here, I am the one who is, that is, who cannot be killed, etc. Achedyaha ayam, etc. He told. He said, the judge, not modern judges, he was cleverer than that. He also read the Gita. He said, yes, you are akarta abhokta. That is true. Means you are not the doer. So that means I don't do anything at all. That is true. But at the same time, you also cannot be killed. Is it not? What can be killed? Body can be killed. I have given the capital punishment to whom? Not for Atma. I have given capital punishment for body. So that you have no grudge against that. So you have to tell that, Ache, Devya, Vada, you have to tell now. Here you told me, Akarta, I am not the doer. He committed the murder, and now he says, I am not the doer. Certainly you are not the doer. But which it is not the doer? Atma. So therefore, when I have given the capital punishment, it is not for the Atma, it is for whom? Body. So you have to say that I am not going to get killed at all. That is how it is. Here such words are not going to help. They will deceive ourselves. It is self-deception. Therefore, I am Satchidananda. For that, what is necessary? Nirvala Chetas is necessary. I hope you remember when I came in January here, I had narrated an incident. Alignment is not correct. You remember? Ask anyone, somebody will be remembering. So, it is that girder is not moving. Sir, the girder is not moving. The wrong alignment. Alignment is not correct. Exactly that. So, wrong alignment here, it is not at correct the alignment, Shuddhanta Karana. So, there is nothing to be worried as such, but know for certain what it is and take to the remedial measures of sadhanas. So, to get that frame of mind, as per our Shastras, there is no hopeless case at all. For each and every one, there is a sadhana, a remedy at his her own level. Even if he is a Valmiki, that hunter, what he was earlier, can anybody be like that? Even he has got a remedy to rise to the status of the sage Valmiki. Therefore, that Nirmala Chetasam is very important, otherwise it will not click. So that is the case. So I am Sat Chit Ananda Swarupaha. So that's this stanza 8 and 9. This stanza 8 and 9. So unfold Jnanasya Atmatva Paramanandatva Nirupanam. It unfolds, explains that whatever jnana that was discovered earlier, samvit that was discovered earlier, it is verily the Atma and Paramanandatva. Jnanasya Atmatva Paramanandatva Nirupanam, that was done in the stanza 8 and 9. Now, jnana is savit. What was seen earlier as the savit. That savit itself is Atma, myself. And not only myself, it is the Paramananda Swarupa. So now, hereafter. So the 10th, what it does is, that very jnana, samvit, which is me, the Atma and Paramanda Sarupa, is not different from Brahma. It is verily the Brahma that is being pointed out. So jnanasya parabrahma bhinnatva nirupanam. So that jnana is parabrahma bhinna. It is not, it is abhinna with parabrahma. It is one and the same as Brahma. So that is being now explained. Itham satchit paranandaha Atma yuktya tatha vidham Param brahma tayoshchaikyam Shrutyanteshu padishyate Itham yuktya Atma satchit paranandaha siddhaha. Itham, in this manner, as it was done earlier. Where it was done, starting from Shabda Sparshadayaha Vidyaha, third stanza onwards, up to stanza 9. So what was established that? So that Itham in this manner. Atma is Satchit Paranandaha, means Atma is Satchidananda Sarupa. Siddha is established, proved. How? Yuktya. How was it done? By Yukti. The method adopted was reasoning. What type of reasoning Yukti it was? Yukti reasoning based on the common experience. So therefore that Yuktya means Lokanubhava Hetu Paramarshena. By Paramarsh, analysis of Lokanubhava Hetu. The Hetu, the reasonings that are based on the Lokanubhava, experience of people. What are the experience of people? For example, Shabda Sparshadayo Vedyaha Vaikityan Pruthak. Is it not experienced by us? The sense objects are different from each other. Do you know or not? We don't need Vidyaranya Muni to come and tell us that all different types of sense objects are different from each other. We know it. Okay. Again, Tataha Pruthak Samvit Eka. Also this experience, our experience. But he made use of that Loka Anubhava to establish or show what is the nature of Atma as Satchidananda Sarupa. Therefore, Yuktya means Lokanubhava Hetu Paramarshena. So by analysis of the experience which is universally found, and by analyzing that we get the reasoning here to establish that Atma is Satchit Paranandaha. By that Yuktya, Atma Satchit Paranandaha Siddhaha. Okay, so that is true. One may say now, look, you have established on the basis of Yukti that Atma is Satchidananda Sarupa. What is the goal of any mumukshu or a Jidnyasu? What is his goal? To gain the knowledge that I am Satchidananda Sarupa, that gives him the moksha. So that you have done on the basis of Yukti. If that is the case, what is the use of Shruti? Shruti is superfluous, is it not? Vedas are superfluous. With clean argument, precisely you have pinpointed us that Atma is Satchidananda Sarupa. Therefore, there is no job that the Shruti has to do. You can discard the Shruti. No. The same thing is verily Brahma, is pointed out by Shruti. And we are not establishing Atma. You see, actually, after a later stage, he says, if he points out what is Atma, this is only a manana. Manana means whatever that is told by Shruti, we try to understand with the help of the Yukti. So what we have employed here is the Yukti, the reasoning, just to ascertain what has been told by the Shruti. The Pramana is Shruti only. Pramana is Shruti. But we take the Shruti Sammata Yukti because this Yukti is that means based on the universal experience. At the same time, it doesn't contradict the Shruti. So therefore, that means not that actually we are establishing the Atma based on the Yukti, but we are taking the help of Yukti to establish the same thing which has been declared by the Shruti. So therefore, no, it is not that the Shruti is superfluous. Tatha vidam param brahma. So therefore, tatha vidam means tatha prakara, of that nature only. Tatha vidam, Tadrigvidha prakaran. Tadrigvidha means like that samvit. So whatever that samvit that was seen as Satchit Parananda, of the same nature, of that nature, Tathavidam Param Brahma. Brahma also is of the same nature. So what does it indicate now? That samvit which is Parananda, Satchit Parananda itself is Brahma, means Atma and Brahma are one and the, they are one and the same. So therefore, Jiva Brahma, identity between the Jiva and Brahma is established. So Tathavidam Param Brahma. Let's put it here, Tathavidam. What is Tathavidam? Means Param Brahma Tathavidam, Satchit Parananda. So Parabrahma also of that nature, of that type. How? There we find in the Taittiriya. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Satyam, Jnanam, Chit. Anantam, Parananda. Anantam stands for limitlessness for Parama, Parananda, limitless, Ananda. Because anything Santa, limited, is necessarily source of sorrow. Source of sorrow. Limitations and limitless Ananda cannot be. A limitless thing, Deshakala Vastu Parichinnam alone can be the Parananda. That's the Anantatva. That is the Paranandatva. The Tathavidam Param Brahma. Tayoshcha Aikyam Shrutyanteshu Upadishyate. Tayoho. Tayoho. Jiva Paramatmanoho. Jivatma as Satchit Parananda was told with the help of Samvit. Paranandaha, this Parabrahma, as pointed out by the Shruti Taittiriya. So Tayoho, of those two, of the Jiva and the Brahma. So Aikyam. Aikyam means, that means Ekasya Bhavaha. It is not bringing two things together. Being identity means one is the same as the other. There is no difference between these two. But one is mistaken to be something other than the other. Again, you can't say one and other. When you say other means what happens? Different from the earlier one. But we say other because we have mistaken it to be something other than. Jiva, who is not different from Brahma, is mistaken to be different from Brahma. Therefore, one and other we have to, for Vyavahara, we have to make use of these words. Therefore, Tayoho Aikyam, Tayoho, of those two, means Tattvam Padartha. So, with the help of Samvit, what was established was Tvam Padartha. Tvam Padartha means you, the Jiva, the real nature of Jiva. Parabrahma is Tat in the Tattvamasi Mahavakya. Aikya, identity between the Tat and Tvam as indicated in the Tattvamasi Mahavakya, means of Jivatma and Paramatma. Aikya, the oneness, both being one and the same. Shrutyanteshu Upadishyate. That is it, that means explain, or that means advise. Shrutyanteshu, what is Shrutyanta? Vedanta. Another word also, no? Trayanta. Have you come across that? Trayi means also Vedas. I had to break my head once upon a time. Trayanta, what is Trayanta, Trayanta? Afterwards, Trayi means Vedas. Vedanta, Shrutyanta, Trayanta. Trayanta. Vedanta. In the Vedanta, Shrutyanteshu means, in Vedanta means in Vedanta Mahavakya, with Upanishad. In the Upanishad, Tayoho Aikyam Upadishyate. Shrutyanteshu can be Shrutinam Anteshu Nishchitarthasu. Shrutyanteshu is Shrutinam Anteshu Nishchitarthasu. What is that Anta? Anta stands for Nirnaya Nishchitartha, ascertained meaning of that. Also Vedanta is like this. You see, Shrutyanta or Vedanta. Vedanam Antaha Yatra Kritaha Vedantaha. End portion. End portion in what sense? Vedanam Anta, the end of Vedas. In what sense? In sense of the Tatparya. The final Tatparya of Vedas is ascertained where, that is what is called as a Vedanta. It is like this. Vedanam Pravritti Parakatvam Nivritti Parakatvam Va iti. Samshaye. Vedanam Pravritti Parakatvam Nivritti Parakatvam Va iti samshaye. When there is a doubt, whether Vedas talk of something which speaks of karma, pravritti marga. Do they talk of pravritti marga or nivritti parakatvam, or do they talk of nivritti marga, means withdrawal from the karma? Such a doubt is there. Means one wants to ascertain what is the exact nature of Vedas. whether they talk of pravrutti marga or they talk of nivrutti marga. So therefore, Vedanam pravrutti parakatvam nivrutti parakatvam va iti samsaye. When such a doubt arises, pravrutti purvakatvam nirasya. Nirasya, dismissing pravrutti purvakatvam. Vedas finally, as the one which advocate the pravrutti marga, means a path of action, nirasya, having dismissed. Nivrutti parakatvena yatra antaha kutaha. Nivrutti parakatvena, Vedas are meant for nivrutti marga only, iti nivrutti parakatvena yatra antaha kutaha. Antaha means, antaha stands for nirnayaha. Antaha nirnayaha kruta. Such as nirnaya, ascertainment is done. So antaha krutaha saha vedantaha. That is Vedanta. That is Upanishad. That is meant by the Upanishad, where it is ascertained that Vedas finally speak of the nivrutti marga, the real nature of Atma. Atma is free from karma. It is naishkarmya sthiti. So which is free from kartrutva, bhoktrutva. So that is what is asserted. So therefore, Vedanam pravrutti parakatvam nivrutti parakatvam va iti samshaye. Pravrutti purvakatvam nirasya. Nivrutti parakatvena yatra antaha nirnayaha krutaha saha Vedantaha. Also, remember, this is what is the Vedanta. Where it is ascertained the real knowledge of oneself, that is what is the Vedanta. This is what is told or that is unfolded in the Shutyanta. So now, what is the nature of Atma? Satchit Parananda. Okay. So therefore, Atma is Parananda. How far is Atma from me? It is my Swarupa. No question of far or near. It is my Swarupa. And therefore my Swarupa, my real nature is Parananda. But do we discover or do we know that we are Parananda? Huh? Why do you tease us unnecessarily? We are so miserable, and you are coming and telling that you are Ananda. See, suppose a beggar is there who is not going to get where the next, he doesn't know where he is going to get the next meal, and you go and tell, look here, you are multi-millionaire. He wants 2 rotis immediately, and you are telling him you are asking for food, you are multi-millionaire, etc. It amounts to teasing to that person also. If I am Parananda, how do I miss it? Because again, you Atma, you might have told, there is something called Parananda, Satchidananda, that is, Samvit is there, that is there, Parananda. It is there somewhere, but I may not able to get the benefit of that. Understandable. But we are told, Iyam Atma. We have made it very clear. That is what? Verily Atma. And Atma is verily my Swarupa, real nature. And it is the Parananda Swarupa. But how do I miss it? How do I miss it? So that the doubt comes. So, if I am Paramananda Swarupa, how do I miss it? So that is, what it does is, so that I am Paramananda Swarupa, this statement is objected now. Objection is raised to the statement of the author, Purvapaksha. So, your statement that I am Paramananda Swarupa, sir, it sounds to be not totally true. Why? The author himself first raises that doubt. And then because based on whatever that was told earlier, and he answers. Abhanena param prema bhanena vishaye spruha tato bhanepya bhatasau Paramanandatatmanaha. See, look here. You are telling us that Atma is Paramananda Swarupa. Now, please tell me, this Atmanaha Paramananda Swarupa, bhasate na bhasate va? Is it known or not known? You tell us that Atma is Paramananda Swarupa. My question to you is, Is it known that I am Paramananda Swarupa? Actually, it should be known. Why it should be known? It's very me. It is very me, my Swarupa. It should be known. Now you say, if it is known, he will say, what is the problem? He will say. So, is it known or not known? So, say, Paramananda Rupatvam na bhasate bhasate va. This Paramananda Swarupa, na bhasate. Is it not known or is it known? If you answer either way, you are caught up. Vedanta is caught up now. Yes, either yes or no. He says, look here. Na bhasate. If Paramananda Swarupa Atma is not known, do you know? Your statement, Parama Premaspadam, is wrong. Tell me, you have love, can you have love towards something unknown? If Atma is not known to be Parama